Hello everybody, and welcome to our first video for Cycle 2 of our Aeon Trespass Odyssey playthrough. I am Emerging Boat, and I will be your captain along this journey. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to this playthrough series. I am doing a playthrough of the entirety of Aeon Trespass Odyssey Cycles 1 through 5. This will actually be my second playthrough of the game. It is a massive game. It takes a lot of time to beat the game. I spent a ton of time going through it when I did my first playthrough. I spent a lot of time playing the game, doing the challenge mode, got very far in that. And yet I am still coming back for more and playing this game again because it is just that good. I love this game. I love the story. I love the mechanics. And so I am excited to share that game with more people and try to show like why I love it so much and hopefully get other people into it. I imagine that a lot of people who are on this video probably already know a little bit about Aeon Trespass Odyssey, but if you don't know anything about the game, if you did just happen to stumble upon this video and you are looking to get into it, I'll give a brief background on like who we are and like just some general basics of the game. If you're interested in getting a deeper dive into the game, especially about the story of Cycle 1, I did a whole series on our Cycle 1 playthrough, so you can go ahead and check out all those videos on YouTube. But there's a lot of videos on there. They're split up between the story and the battle, so you can kind of pick and choose the things on there if you would like to. If you're just interested in the story, I do a deep dive in the final video of that Cycle 1 playthrough. I go through and talk about the story up to that point, leading up to the finale of the Cycle 1 story and everything with like, we were in the land of Crete and we were, like what we were doing there and who we were fighting and all these kinds of things. So I recommend going and checking that out if you want to get caught up at least on the Cycle 1 portion of the story. But some very, very quick background on just like what is Aeon Trespass about in the first place. It is the story of us, the Argonauts, and we are sailing on this massive city ship that contains like a civilization or civilizations of people. It is enormous. And we are guided on our journey by a wise sage man referred to as the old priest. And we don't really know a lot about the background of who we are as Argonauts. Like, we basically got woken up from these tubes from inside this ship, and we were thrust into combat, and we're just kind of like slowly learning things about ourselves and about the ship and about the world we're in. But the general setting of this game is that it takes place in ancient Greece. The location that we were in for the first cycle was Crete. But this is the mythological ancient Greece. So we're dealing with gods and titans and nymphs and all these sorts of mythological creatures and figures. So it's a really great story. One of the primary event that we learn about is this thing called the eschaton. And we don't know a lot about the eschaton, but it was basically like a cataclysmic event. And after the eschaton, the gods died. All of the gods are dead, and we don't really know what caused the eschaton, but we do know that it is still wreaking havoc upon ancient Greece to the current present day. There are these things called primordials, which are these giant monsters that are roaming around the lands and killing people, destroying cities. And so we are just kind of going from location to location, learning about ourselves, learning about the people in these different locations, learning about the stories. We're kind of just following this thread that is taking us from place to place. Like in Cycle 1, we basically had to go to Crete because we needed to find these materials that could be used to repair our ship. Then in Cycle 2, we are now being led into the land of Lakonia, specifically Sparta, because a mysterious figure basically sent us a letter saying, hey, I saw the things that you did in Crete. I saw what you did with Temenos, and I have now deemed you worthy of an audience. And I know all about your city ship, the Argo, and I know things about it that you don't know. And he sent along these keys and like all these little baubles and everything to basically prove that he knows things about this ship. So now we are kind of intrigued about this, and we're setting sail to travel to Sparta to meet with this figure. So let's get into it right now. A quick overview here. We have no map here. We're starting fresh. There's nothing here, so we're going to start and explore this whole thing together. We have some things that carry over from our Cycle 1 playthrough, some things that don't. For those familiar with the game, there is the story that you can do between Cycles 1 and 2. I think it's called Onwards Odyssey. I have not done that in this playthrough. I have done it in previous playthroughs, but I just chose not to do it for this one so I could get directly into Cycle 2. But because of that, we have some basic starting things or statistics for the Argo that we're starting off with. We have 5 out of 5 hull. We have 5 out of 8 crew. We have no Argo Fate. I love Argo Fate. No, I'm sorry. I love no Argo Fate. I don't love Argo Fate. I love the things that we can use it for. Don't you get me confused with that. I'm not a big fan of Argo Fate, but I do like what it allows us to do. Let's see. We did have to get rid of some Titans from Cycle 1, unfortunately, because you have to come down to 10 Titans. So I had to get rid of some Dreamwalkers, unfortunately. But we do get to keep all of our special Titans here. Let's see, what else? We carry over some resources from Cycle 1, like some of our cores, our priests, all these good things. Yeah, so I think that's not super important to cover right now. So let's just jump over, I think, are we ready to get into the story? I think so. I think I've delayed this for long enough. So something that we're doing differently that we did not do in Cycle 1, but we are going to be doing in Cycle 2 is using the official voiceovers from Into the Unknown. I reached out to them and asked for their permission to be able to use these voiceovers in these recordings, and hopefully also be doing some live streams soon. I keep talking about that. I need to do it, but the voiceovers for this game are outstanding. I've talked about them before. They're just so phenomenally well done. They're so professional, and there's so much story to narrate in this game. The amount of hours of content that is just like the equivalent of multiple audiobooks in this is just amazing, and the production quality is great. I love it. So I'm really excited to be able to use the voiceovers for this. So thank you to the folks at Into the Unknown Studios for allowing me to use the voiceovers in this. I really appreciate it. Special shout out to Conrad over there, who was emailing me back and forth and working with me on it and reviewing some of the videos. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the support from Into the Unknown in general. They've given me support on things in the past, from like replacing a mini from Kingdoms Forlorn, or like I broke something off of a figure, the arm of one of the special Titans I purchased, and they shipped the arm to me, which was just amazing. Yeah, so every time I've reached out to them, I've gotten immediate feedback from them. They're always in Discord and helping out there. So thank you for the work that you do, both in terms of the games that you produce, but also for the level of support you provide. It is first class. So with that, let's get into the story of Cycle 2.
The skies overhead are a roiling black mass. You have neither stars nor the moon to guide you through the murk, and must rely on your instincts and the lanterns aboard the Argo. As you plunge deeper into the night, you become aware of a dull orange glow painting the bellies of the clouds with flickering lights. The first glimpses of land heave into view. Tiny settlements consumed in flame, a tower of fire and smoke moving with slow, sinister purpose among them, leaving a trail of smoldering destruction in its wake. As dawn breaks, the Argo coasts around a headland, and you spot a large settlement ahead, the port town of Aeon. You find yourself feeling anxious, uncertain. It's difficult to describe sensation. The summons you received was terse and cryptic.
Argonauts, I have watched your struggle with great interest. You laid low the twisting corruptor Temenos, and thus became worthy of an audience. I know who you are, who put you on that forsaken vessel. It is time you learn the true shape of the world. Come to Lakonia and meet with me. If you don't, many innocents will suffer.
The message came with a set of Argo keys, baubles treasured by the Argo works beyond measure. For each one unlocks a hidden function of the great ship. No Argo key has ever been found outside of the vessel until now. Apparently, this supreme ruler of the Spartan Empire, the so-called Nietzschean, means business. As you draw up to the bustling dock, a cadre of armored warriors awaits you, their helms gleaming bronze, their breastplates adorned with a white and red motif. Behind them is a lumbering figure who looms even over your largest titan. He is broad, muscular, and covered in scars. His head is bald, his stubby ears lying flat along his skull as a single eye looks down upon the small folk around him with an empty stare. A Cyclops. You've heard of them, but never seen one. They are supposed to live far in the highlands, which they roam in nomadic pastoral tribes. Your surprise fades as you spot the chains that bind the giant, some affixed to his flesh with deep, cruel hooks.
Okay. Try to show some of the artwork here too as it comes up in the book. So I'm following along in there. But here at this point we have a couple of options. Option 1, while your summoning here seems odd, you see no outward reason to act with any hostility. Both the people of the Argo and the people of the Nietzschean's empire will be watching you carefully, so perhaps it would be wise to show tact. Or would that just tempt the fates? Give the delegation a warm welcome and treat them respectfully. Option 2, these are strangers walking into your home. They could have any number of nefarious purposes for being here, and their leader remains a complete unknown. You feel it is prudent to keep them at arm's length, at least until you discern their motives. Or is it just your paranoia talking? Keep the delegation at a distance and ensure they are carefully watched. Well, I mean, I definitely agree with the sentiment of number 2. Like, I think they could have nefarious purposes. I think it's very ominous that we got sent this letter and these people have more information than we do. So I think we want to kind of play our cards close to our chest as much as possible here. Like, let's just welcome them until we can try to get more information from them in this situation. Let's not just come off as standoffish immediately. I think I'm going to lean towards option 1 here. So we're going to see paragraph 2.
You spread your hands in a wide gesture of greeting. Welcome aboard the Argo. We are thankful for the invitation to your shores and the offer of hospitality from your leader. We are eager to meet with this Nietzschean. Silence, awkward and uncomfortable, stretches out between you. The Spartan soldiers look at you with disapproving scowls, their disdain evident in their posture. You can feel the tension permeate the air around you. You wonder if this was truly wise, if allowing such strangers into your midst was inviting danger into your home.
Okay, so here we are going to have to gain 1 fate and 2 Argo fate. Okay. So we're going to go back to our Scribe app here. Also, for anybody wondering, the reason I'm switching back and forth between Scribe and the official app is what has the voiceovers in it. By the way, I will put, there's a link to the official app in the description below, so you can download it from there if you're trying to use the official voiceovers. The official app does have support for tracking everything about your campaign as well, all your Argonauts, all the things about your Argo, the resources you have, your nymphs, your god forms, everything. They even have some tools for being able to help you with decrypting some of the languages that appear in the game. I am still using Scribe mainly because Scribe has support for Mac OS, and so it's easier for me to do these recordings with this app. I'm also just a little bit more familiar with it, but I'm actually I will be playing around more with the official app. Like the way I have to run the voiceovers app right now is I have some really old iPad that I'm using to like stream the audio and video and everything for. So when I'm doing some unrecorded parts of the playthrough, I'm going to be testing out the official app for tracking everything and seeing how easy it is for me to do it on the iPad. It's just easier for me right now to be using Scribe because I can use a mouse and keyboard to enter things as opposed to using the touch screen, which is a little bit more annoying for me to deal with while I'm doing these videos. But it's a really polished app. I do recommend checking it out. They've been making a ton of updates to it. And yeah, so let's cut over to Scribe, which is what we're using right now for tracking our campaign stats. We're going to gain 2 Argo Fate here. And then each Argonaut is going to gain 1 Fate. So I'm going to add that to their Triskelions down here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. And now let's cut back over to our story and we are ready to continue. We're going to go to paragraph 0005.
One member of the delegation steps forward, sneering at your words. His entire body radiates hostility. He raises an arm, clicking his fingers. The chained Cyclops lumbers forward, towing a large cart. He glances down at the Spartan with fear in his eye, then looks to you. You recognize the heaviness in his posture, a soul pushed beyond despair and into something resembling apathy. The Spartan commander walks up to the cart and pulls aside the canvas sheet covering its contents. He offers you a smile, devoid of warmth. Here, some gifts for the mighty Argonauts, from the armories of the Nietzschean himself. You look over the cart's contents, surprise catching at your heart as you spy the glimmering steel blades, the polished bronze armor, and a weapon as large as you are tall, perfectly suited for the hands of one of your Titan behemoths. It is made of the maize flesh of Temenos, the material Alcibiades only just unlocked the secrets of, yet this weapon bears the signs of age and use. How did the Nietzschean come by it? What does he know of Temenos and your Titans?
So this Nietzschean not only knows of Temenos and the Argo, but has technology that required like pieces of the Temenos. That is quite disturbing. We should definitely be on alarm right now, at least on our guard, because we are at a deficit of information apparently.
A hush falls over the Acropolis deck. You turn to see the gathering crowds of the Argos residents parting as a figure approaches. This strange new arrival carries with him an overpowering confidence. As you look at him, you cannot help but feel as though he belongs here, on the upper deck of the Argo. He moves about the ship so naturally, it almost seems as if the very ground belongs to him, his birthright. He is of solid, muscular build, impressively tall and broad in the shoulders, a giant among men. Sheer power pulses through him, almost divine in nature, a radiating presence that inspires awe and a little fear. He bears neither weapons nor armor, instead wearing a simple white robe girdled with a golden thread about his waist. A torrent of golden hair cascades past his bronze features. His piercing blue eyes glance to each of the gathered representatives of the Argo, weighing you up one by one. When he finally speaks, shattering the hushed silence, his voice carries far on the still air.
The mighty Argonauts.
He smiles, a gesture of warmth, the most welcoming you have seen from a Spartan, and yet it is not the smile of a friend. Rather, it is the condescending smile of a mentor looking down on his students.
I am what you aspire to be.
There is coldness there. We just came here for answers. The Argo...
You want answers? Women bear life and men grant death.
Nietzschean paces, his hands gesturing broadly as his eyes scan the crowd surrounding him.
And the world is cruel and uncaring.
He looks to the sun, and for a moment you see a spark of anger beyond the vast blue of his eyes.
It does not give. You take or you are taken. Eat or you are eaten.
A knot tightens in the pit of your stomach. You've heard many priests before, and the Nietzschean's rhetoric sounds troublingly familiar to you. The Spartans watch him with adoring affection, and you can even see some of your own men nodding at his words. The women, though, their gazes are cold. They know what these truths of the supposed natural order tend to bring. We did not come here for lessons.
I do not care what you came here for.
He looks at your crew, his gaze lingering on the women among you.
You will learn your place in the world. I give you 80 days and nights to make your way to my Temple of Man and defeat me in combat. For every day that you delay, I shall have a score of citizens of this land slaughtered, sacrifices made in my name. The strong shall code the weak until you put a stop to it.
The Nietzschean's words send a chill racing down your spine. They are the words of a madman, and yet he seems so calm, measured. You glance to the unarmed Spartans with him. The Nietzschean himself is defenseless. You have the numbers and the weaponry, and yet the Nietzschean still seems immovably confident.
Oh boy, okay. All right, so we have a few options here for how we can respond. Option 1. He is aggressive, but he is also a leader. He should listen to reason and logic. Maybe you can make him reconsider, or at least be easier to bargain with. You have much to offer on the mighty Argo. We would appeal to compassion and vie for peace here. Option 2. This man's words are crazed, his plot unhinged. You cannot ignore his threat, but attacking an unarmed envoy at your own ship, on your own ship, is not the way to do this. Accept his challenge and swear to put a stop to him. Option 3. You have an opportunity to stop him right here, right now. You have the people and the weapons. If you let him leave the Argo, who knows how many innocents he will slaughter. Better to end the threat right away, before it grows into a bigger problem. Here we would attack the delegation and put an end to the Nietzschean. And we would lose a resource called humanity. Yeah, we just refer to humanity as a resource. Let's see here. I mean, I think I'm just going to rule out option 3 off the bat, because this man is bold enough to just come aboard the ship, and like he has his army behind him, but I don't think somebody who is showing that much confidence and clearly has some knowledge about the ship and like has some things to back himself up, I don't think he's just going to put himself out here stupidly. I don't trust that we can actually try to do anything against him. Like I'm not going to be brash here. Option 1 feels really naive. Option 2, but like option 2 also just kind of feels like we are trying to be, I don't know, it feels almost like complicit. Like I don't think we're going to be able to convince him to not kill just hordes of people every day. Option 2 kind of feels like you're just accepting it. Like, yeah, all right, you do that. We will meet your challenge. Maybe we can try to convince him from option 1. I feel like this is based off of what we did in Crete in cycle 1 and how we helped the people there. I feel like this makes sense for what we would try to do here. Let's try to appeal to compassion, even if we think it's a bit naive and maybe a bit not likely to work, but we'll try. So we're going to go to paragraph 6. Okay, and I have to remember the paragraph numbers at the bottom here are not in the same order that they're listed in the options, so you just have to be careful about which one you're going to. Picking option 1, so see paragraph 6.
You're talking about the death of hundreds, thousands. Surely there is a way we can avoid needless bloodshed. If it's a test of strength you want, done. We will rise to the challenge. No need to involve those who elect not to fight.
Those who elect not to fight elect not to live. They elect to be the dirt beneath my boots.
His voice gains a dangerous edge.
This softness they made you with, I will slaughter 10 times more because of it. Women, children, how does it make you feel?
Please, do not do this, you say, trying to appease him. There must be a middle ground here that we could reach. The Nietzschean bellows violently, then looks up at the sky, sighing, a deep, low release of breath that transmits utter disappointment.
The middle is where the bodies pile up.
He growls.
Where I will tear you to pieces. I hope your replacements from the mausoleum will be made of sterner stuff.
So the Nietzschean knows about the Argonaut mausoleum. That is, well, he apparently knows a lot about the ship. And I think we need to figure out why he knows so much. So we have some instruction here. We're going to gain a progress token, and we're going to mark H4. So we don't have a story card revealed at the beginning of the cycle, so I think we are going to have to take this progress token and put it on the Inwards Odyssey, because I think we start off with the Inwards Odyssey card, which is our card for, like, basically as we get progress tokens, we can put things on that to try to learn more about the ship, the Argo, and ourselves as the Argonauts. So I think right now our only option is to put it on onto that card. So go ahead, go to Inwards Odyssey here. We'll put a progress token on it. And then we're going to go and mark H4. Boom, boom. And let's see. We tried to, if I could spell this morning, we tried to convince the the Nietzschean to not kill hordes of people. We probably failed, ... So hopefully it's a good thing that we tried to do this, but maybe we'll see in the future. Go back there and let's go back to our story.
The Nietzschean lunges with inhuman speed, closing the distance with your forces in less time than it takes to draw breath. Like a wolf set loose among a flock of startled sheep. He holds no weapon, bears no shield nor armor, and yet he matches your warriors with ease, catching spears and snapping them with nary a grunt of effort, dodging swords and rushing in close to their wielders. Bones break, spines shatter, limbs are torn with nauseating smacks. Skulls crack like ripe fruits under a hammer. Blood and viscera floods you as if you were descending to Hades. Through all of this, the Nietzschean shows no sign of effort or strain. Instead, his lips peel back in a sneering smirk of superiority as a deep chuckle escapes from his core. His blue eyes flash with malicious glee as he tears through the soldiers of the Argo. Blood stains his fists, and spatters of viscera are scattered across his pristine features. Even surrounded, he is untouched, without injury.
Oh my gosh, this is so much better than me trying to read this. This is so good. The sound effects too, brutal. Oh my gosh, this man is just tearing us apart. All right, so we have some instruction here. The strongest Argonaut, having the most Nemos nodes, is the only one standing a chance against this monster, so they lead the counterattack. All right, I think that is going to be our boy Anacreon. Most Nemos nodes, yeah, I think we can tell from like the most likely symbol here. Yeah, he definitely has more Nemos nodes than anybody else, for sure. All right, Anacreon, let's go ahead and lead this charge. Let's take on the Nietzschean.
As your ranks fold, you push forward to lead by example. The strongest of you pulls ahead, hurling himself into a mighty leap aimed directly at the Nietzschean's back. He is exposed, focused on your warriors. They have a chance. The weapon in their hand moves in a blindingly fast arc as they slash at their foe. The Nietzschean moves faster than the eye can follow, spinning with primal awareness. His powerful hand reaches up and catches them by the throat.
No.
There is a loud snap, and in that instant it's over. The strongest of you is dead. The Nietzschean throws their limp body away like a piece of garbage.
No! No! Anacreon! Oh. Oh, man. He really was the strongest of me because he had the Death Follows Nemos. Oh. Nietzschean just grabs him by the throat and just crushes his neck. Oh my god. All right, we have instruction here. The strongest Argonaut dies. Retire. Oh, retire your Argonaut. Okay, I guess we don't mark him as dead. He's just he's his own form of retirement. Oh, so I wonder. I guess in this case he would retire without. He would retire without putting any of his, or I guess both of his Nemoses would go into the Nemos vault, and he wouldn't have a catharsis code. Okay, yeah, I guess that's what I'll do. Let's go ahead and switch over to this. Let's see. Anacreon is going to be retired. Goodbye, Anacreon. Oh, wait. Yeah. Now it just switched over to Olympia. Okay, I was confused there for a second. Darn. All right, well, we say goodbye to Anacreon. Anacreon was actually one of our original Argonauts that we started the journey with. He's been around since day one. He did not, like, he's the only Argonaut to be in this blue slot. Dang, and he had the resolved Left Behind Faded Nemos too, so we had the bonuses from that. Shoot, okay. So yeah, I guess I'll put both of these back in the Nemos vault. Well, rest in peace, Anacreon. We went through some crazy stuff together in Cycle 1. Dang, okay. I should probably do this view. All right. Give me 1 second. We're going to get a new Argonaut out. It says, then activate a new Argonaut, draw a new portrait card, and gain the cast-off Nemos card. Each Argonaut, including the new one, gains 1 rage. So I think we're just rushing down to the mausoleum really quickly to just awaken somebody real quick. Like, hey, look, the strongest of us just died. We now need your help to come and face this guy who's probably gonna kill all of us. So give me 1 second. Okay, I am back, and we have Hypatia. She is going to be our newest Argonaut, taking over that second slot there. And instead of drawing a Nemos card from the Nemos vault, we were instructed to get this cast-off Nemos. So the first ability that we have for it is when you are about to resolve a trauma draw, treat your danger as 1 lower. And the cost of that is just exhausting the Nemos. Hypatia, I haven't been reading the little story blurbs on the back of these. I'm going to start doing that from this point on. Hypatia is a boisterous, larger-than-life member of your crew, prone to roughhousing and reckless outbursts. Wherever she goes, she brings an air of lighthearted humor with her, able to brighten any dour mood. When asked what she remembers of awakening in the Argonaut mausoleum, she laughs, joking that she shouldn't be here at all, making up a story about being caught up in nets of the last Titanicanastus expedition. How do I pronounce that? Titanoctistos. I don't know. It's down there at the bottom. I'm pretty good at pronouncing words, but that one's got me stumped. All right. So welcome, Hypatia. Rip Anacreon. Dang. All right. Let's continue on with our story. Oh, and then we have to, everybody gets 1 rage here, so I'll go ahead and add that to Triskelion. So everybody is at 1 rage, 1 fate. Oh, actually, except Hypatia should not have any fate. She only gets to rage. We're just coming out here pissed off. I mean, I'm pissed off. He just killed Anacreon.
Angry yet?
The Nietzschean unleashes another laugh and leaps over the Argo's railing, spinning into a graceful swan dive down toward the waves far below, and leaving you staring after him in shocked silence. For a moment, you think the encounter is over. No mortal could have survived that dive. Then the city ship rocks like a cradle pushed by an uncaring parent. A column of steam rises from the sea, a vast white plume that chokes the air as the temperature around you rises sharply. Hands the size of wagons appear over the side of the Argo, clutching hold of it as a truly gargantuan body holds itself up out of the waves. The form is coated in a shimmering, oily hide that stretches across a humanoid form taller than the Argo's immense height. The strange flesh seems to flow and shift as the creature moves, rippling like the surface of a turbulent lake. The upper portion of the monster's body ignites. wreathing itself in flames that burn almost blue-white but darken to orange, red and yellow further up the body. The flesh on its head and shoulders burns away to reveal a gleaming white skull and collarbone. The monster opens its maw. A gush of smoke and steam escapes in a billowing cloud as it looses a deep, reverberating howl that could shatter stone. Empty eye sockets turn downward to look upon the deck of the Argo. Then, with another earth-rending bellow, the monster lifts its hand up high and slams it down. Tearing metal, shattering stonework, and killing dozens. You immediately run for the Aeon. You'll need your titans if you are to have a hope of facing this foe.
Ooh, all right. Well, let's see. We have some instruction here. Lose 1 Argo hull. I wonder, we still have our technology that would allow us to, I think, try to save against this. Let's double check. Projects. No bonuses. About to lose hull during the voyage or adventure phase. I think we're technically in the adventure phase because we're not in the voyage or the encounter. So let's do it. Let's gain an Argo Fate. Go up to 3 Argo Fate before we even start on day 1. And we need, what was the, oh wait, actually maybe I don't want to do this because the save value is going to be pretty high. We already spent the Fate technology bonuses. All right, we would need 3 plus your current hull value, which is, so we would need 8 or higher. We have a 30% chance of getting this. 7, close. Okay, so we still lose the hull. Darn. Okay, then we will go to the Cruel Lesson battle on page 132. Right. And I'm going to do this battle in this video. Normally I separate out the battles and the story stuff, but I think for some of these ones that are kind of like really key in the story, I like to do it all in the same one. So here is, we're going to be introducing the Nietzschean really quickly, but let me just provide some visual artwork there of what we are dealing with as I grab the battle map over here that I somewhat set up. Hopefully I can carry it over without messing things up carefully. But this dude is, he is nothing to, he's not one to joke with. Let's see, how straight does that look? No, it would help if I showed our battle there. Yeah, that's right. I had all these cards set up on the side and you had no idea. I knew it was coming here. Let's see. So we're going to have these things set up. Have our map prepared. And we have some, let's go back to this really quickly. No, let's do this and I'll do that. We have some intro text for this battle.
The skull-faced monstrosity is the mortal Nietzschean's shadow. His will made flesh, black and repugnant, his wrath burning like an everlasting pyre, towering over even the mightiest of titans, untouchable, radiating the pure, unadulterated power of manhood. He has come to you to administer his cruel lesson and show you the path to the salvation of humanity. Strength unshackled. For you are either the blade or for the blade. Do not disappoint him.
right. So a little bit about this battle. Also, sorry if there might be a bit of a delay between the story finishing and like me talking, because I'm listening to the story through my speakers that I'm like wirelessly streaming the audio to, and there's definitely like a couple of seconds of delay between when you're hearing it versus when I'm hearing it. So apologies if there's some like awkward delay there. Yeah, so this is a fight against the Nietzschean, and I will tell you right now, he is not fun to fight. Well, depending on what kind of definition you have for fun, I guess. Let's take a look at his primordial sheet here. So we have some awesome artwork there as usual. And it's cool because if you look on the figure there, you can see here's the Nietzschean shadow, massive, like just large being covered in smoke. He's got a little bit of red glowing around his face. He has some like inscriptions or like little colored markings on his body that are glowing. And then we have his his little mini here. I at least have these are not fully painted. The cycle 2 bosses are not fully painted. I at least have the, what did I do with them? I did a coating of black, and then I did one layer of dry brushing. I'll probably at least do like a top-down spray of like some white spray paint to do like some extra highlights, but I don't know. I don't like to spend a ton of time painting, but hey, it's still, we have some layers at least to this. You can see a little bit more definition compared to some of the other models, but the models are amazing. And then here, even on our miniature, or quote unquote miniature, we have our Nietzschean himself. So he's walking into battle with his shadow. Not even sure what we want to call it yet. Put him back on the map. So his primordial sheet, 9 or higher to hit. So he's just hard to do an attack roll against. He has 8 movement, and he has 12. It takes 12 wounds to be able to kill him. How is this coming up in terms of contrast? You could reduce the contrast a little bit here, make it a little bit easier, or exposure maybe 35. That's slightly better, maybe slightly better. So he has a few traits. He has Stay Your Hand. Each Nietzschean attack deals 1 danger or less. So that's a fun trait. That's probably the only good trait that we're going to be reading on this shit. But hey, on this sheet, but we have at least one good trait going for us. Then we have his danger sense trait. So on the little, what's it called? The little diagram down here, you can see that the sides of him, the spaces adjacent to him are listed with a D. So if you move into those, move through those during the Titan round, you have a chance of him just triggering a signature on you. So if you walk through those, do any kind of voluntary or do any kind of movement on him during the Titan round, you got to roll a die and you might die. Then we have End of Hope. So just like we saw with some of our tougher primordials from cycle 1, like the Temenos and the Pursuer, the Nietzschean is going to do the signature at the end of every primordial round. So, well, that's okay. I mean, you might be thinking we've seen primordials before who can do 2 attacks in a single round. Like, it's not the best, but we can deal with it. We can plan around it because we know the targeting instructions of the signature. Like, hey, it's okay. Like we can work with this. That's not terrible. And here's where you're wrong, because the Nietzschean has a trait we're going to jump down to here called Weapon Master. But the important thing about this is that he can combo. What is comboing, you might ask? It's just another way that the primordial can kill you more quickly. So he has these little like symbols down here. basically, after he does his first AI card in the primordial round, he is going to try to do a second AI card. So yes, he can do 3 attacks in a single primordial round, 2 AI cards and the signature. It's not fun. You have a chance, like there's a way that you can do what's called a combo break, and I apologize because I will at some points probably refer to this as a chain break because I just keep switching those two up. But you have a chance of trying to combo break, but you need gear that gives you the combo break ability. We only have one such piece of gear that we are able to craft from killing the Pursuer in Cycle 1. We have this Hermes Cape, which has that combo breaker ability. Basically, right before the Primordial is about to perform a combo, there's a window of opportunity. So you can try to reflex or use combo breaker to move towards the Primordial and get him within a weapon's effective range. And then if you do that and you have that combo breaker, you can then exhaust that weapon to combo break him. But weapons have traits, and depending on which part he is on this track, he's going to start off on the sword part of this track. You need traits on your weapon that allow you to combo break. So in the first primordial round, the first time he goes to do a combo, you would need to combo break with either a knife, a shield, a whip, or a slab sword. So our Sky Seer over here in the bottom right, which I haven't covered the Sky Seer yet, I will talk about the Sky Seer shortly, has a shield. So this card has the shield trait, and this Theseus's Razor has the sword trait. So both things that we could try to combo break with at different points here. But she is the only person who can combo break because she's the only person who has that combo breaker ability. Where do we want to go here? Sure, that's fine. Let's see, what else? We have the Strong Eat. So during the setup, we put 1 additional You Died Obol in the Obol deck. So normally that deck consists of 1 you live, 1 you died. So you have a 50-50 chance of surviving. If you have to draw from there, that is now reduced to 33% chance of surviving. So also a little bit more deadly in that aspect. And then I think we covered all the traits there. Yep, Danger Sense, End of Hope, Strong Eat, Weapon Master. In this cycle, or at least with these primordials who have a combo ability, gaining rage does not trigger a changing of the priority target. The priority target is basically just whoever, unless something specifically tells you to change the priority target, it's whoever did a combo break last. And if your Titan has the priority target, they cannot combo break. So important things to note, it's tough to do consistent combo breaking if you only have 1 Titan who can do combo breaking unless you can get the priority target off of them. So this fight is going to have special victory conditions and defeat conditions, just like the Temenos and the Pursuer did in the first cycle. Victory condition for this fight, because we only have, this is our first fight with the Nietzschean, we just need to perform an attack that deals 8 total power. So once we do that, we can end this fight. Let's see, then if we wanted to keep going after that, we could choose to do so. Once we deal that attack that does 8 total power, we have to read a certain paragraph, and I cannot wait to talk to you about something in that paragraph because, yeah, I'll wait. It's a fun little surprise from the mechanics of that paragraph, as well as just some experience that I can't wait to share you about. Then for defeat, we would lose this fight if we lose even a single Titan. So then once we lose our first Titan, we would also get the chance to read a special paragraph, paragraph 12. Retreat is impossible. And there are rewards for going up to different wound levels here if you are able to like go past certain thresholds, with 10 wounds giving you a piece of gear called the End. So hopefully we'll be able to get that at some point. But I think with this fight, we are just going to try to get out of this as quickly as possible. I am going to use special Titans for this. A smart move might be to just like swap out all of the Titans here and just try to use as many Dreamwalkers as you can. But I'm just going to increase our chances of trying to be able to deal 8 power as quickly as possible. And get out of this fight, quote unquote, unscathed. And I think with that, I think we're ready to dive in here. Just quickly going through some of the loadouts here. The loadouts are pretty similar to what we had with our final battle with Temenos, but some quick overview of different things. We have the Pure Asclepios. This is, we got the unevolved form of this weapon early on in Cycle 1. We were able to evolve it in Cycle 1. Typically going into this cycle, like I think what I did my first playthrough was I got Pyramidion late in Cycle 1, and then like towards the middle of Cycle 2 is when he evolved it. So it's cool that we're able to start this cycle off with the already evolved version. I'm excited about that because that's a difference in my 2 playthroughs so far. Let's see. Oh, and he does need to start off with, I'm going to have him start off with a, do I actually want to do this? Because I might be trying to get out of this in the first primordial round, and maybe I don't want to do this. Let me think about that. I actually might switch some things around to just try to get Earthshaker to deal that first, be the one to deal the wound, or that 8 total power wound. But I will think about that shortly, because I'll probably pause the video in a second so I can get some water and see if I want to change anything. Going down here, we have Game Changer. We had all this equipment at the end of Cycle 1. I'm using Unsolved Enigma because there are some, so maybe I want to have Game Changer use Pure Asclepios, because Unsolved Enigma allows you to change some opening tokens into break tokens. A lot of the equipment we're using and the Kratos tables that we have out right now are going to be putting out more opening tokens than break tokens, but I like break tokens because it's easier to re-roll attack dice than it is to re-roll power dice. And so if I can have more break tokens, I'm more likely to deal wounds. So I haven't really used Unsolved Enigma. I think this is the first fight I've ever really used it, including my first playthrough, and probably even when I was doing the Menestus Theater like challenge mode stuff. But you might notice the weapon Horizon's Edge. I'm going to include that in the same discussion that I'm going to talk about Skyseer. So Skyseer, Horizon's Edge, and there's one other piece of gear. Forget what it's called, but it's an accessory item. They are from the Menestus Theater. So the Skyseer is an additional Titan you can buy as an expansion. I think it originally came with like the first, it came automatically with the first release of the game. After that, I think you were able to buy it as an expansion Titan. But Skyseer is incredible. It's the only thing that it's the only reward that you can get from, well, with one caveat. It's the only reward you can get from the Menestus Theater that carries over into the actual campaign. So for most things in Menestus Theater, you might get awesome equipment, like awesome pieces of gear that's ridiculous. They're so strong, but you can only use them in the Menestus Theater. In the Skyseer is the exception of that, and the Skyseer comes with the Horizon's Edge and this one other piece of gear, in that like once you get into a few battles deep in the Menestus Theater, here is like the little like flow chart. So you can literally do it after like 2 fights. You can get the Skyseer Titan. You have to beat Hecaton level 5 and then Pursuer level 2. But then you get the ability to use the Skyseer Titan. You get one of them for free, and then after that you have to spend like either time or specific resources to be able to craft new ones. But the Skyseer is amazing, has 7 movement. and a red die plus auto break 1 for her power die. So that by itself is awesome. It's similar power to the logic breaker in terms of that red die plus auto break 1, but 7 movement is ridiculous. All of our Titans have 5 movement except for the Maze Runner, who has 6, and then Sky Seer gets 7 movement. Plus, during her movement abilities, I'll actually take this off so we can see the actual artwork there. During the movement ability, you can move diagonally. So Sky Seer can just fly around the board, literally and figuratively, because she also has an ability called Fly, which if you spend a fate and exhaust that ability during voluntary movement. So diagonal you can only use when you're moving during the movement action on your turn. Fly you can use during any of your voluntary movement, so during like reposition, or I guess if you are performing push or something like that, reflex. Use during voluntary movement to ignore all terrain tiles during this movement. You cannot end your movement on an obstacle or chasm. So she can fly over some of these tiles, like these little Spartan Riverworks here are chasm tiles. You cannot cross them unless you have something like this fly ability. Also with chasms, because I don't think we showed a level 4 Hecaton fight in the Cycle 1, which had chasm tiles as well, but chasm tiles are basically like if your Titan gets pushed back over them or knocked back and they land into it on a knockback, they just fall into the chasm and die. Unless you have an ability like Lifeline that could save you, or which Sky Seer also has. Sky Seer has a scale ability, which allows her to automatically succeed at a climb test. She has a Seer Sense ability, which I think is a different name on the Maze Runner, but similar in terms of after surviving a major or grave trauma or an obol, she gets 1 temporary positive evasion token. And then Fall and Soar ability does not require an exhaust. When you fail the hold on test, immediately move 2 spaces instead of suffering the falling down effect. I don't think I actually climbed onto a VP during any of the Cycle 1 videos. I definitely did it during Cycle 1, but I may not have had any of it on camera. But after you like reveal a vantage point for a primordial, you can climb on top of it. And then in order to stay on that vantage point, you have to perform usually an endurance test, or like basically a hold on test, to be able to see if you can hold on to the primordial while they're taking their turn or after they've taken their turn. So if you fail that, Sky Seer gives you an ability that lets you not suffer crazy negative consequences from it. So Sky Seer is amazing for being able to like fly up and climb on things, be able to like just fly around the map in general. And then she has Lifeline, which can prevent her from dying immediately from falling into a chasm or falling off of a board edge and all that good stuff. So yes, Sky Seer is fantastic. And then her weapon that she comes with, the Horizon's Edge, is an ascended weapon. So you can use this, if I remember correctly, you can basically use this in any cycle because it has the ascended keyword on it. Without any kind of penalty. I will talk more about Ascension in a bit. But Horizon's Edge is a pretty good weapon. 2 attack dice, plus 2 precision. You get a red die per hit, plus an additional black power die. It has reach 2, it has reposition 2, it has opening 2. And then if you get a crit chance, you have break 2. If you're in the blind spot, you have deadly. If you have 5 or more danger, you can actually be just adjacent to a blind spot and still get that deadly, or like you treat it like as if you were in the blind spot. So that is awesome. So Sky Seer, amazing. Horizon's Edge, maybe not a great weapon for like later in cycles, but early on in a cycle, we love that. Awesome weapon to have. Yeah, and then lastly, we have the Logic Breaker, who is using the Mazimer. Yeah, I think I'll stop the explanations there because I just want to get into this fight. Normally I explain why each Titan has a specific loadout. Wait until I read. Hopefully, I'll be reading paragraph 11 after we deal that wound with 8 or more power, because there will be more context in that paragraph that I will provide with you. But with that, I will zoom out here, go back to our battle view. I'm going to go grab some water really quickly, and then we will get this battle started. So be right back. All right, I am back, and I'm going to move a couple things around because I want to approach this fight with the intent of just getting this wound, like this 8 total power, out as quickly as possible. So in order to accomplish that, let's give Pyrisclipios to the Game Changer. So then Game Changer is now going to be very likely to be dealing a lot of damage. I think we can just give Horizon's Edge to Earthshaker. Earthshaker will probably go first and just go with Horizon's Edge. And then we have to remove a support item from Game Changer. We'll actually just give this to... well, actually, you can't have multiple copies of that, so maybe we'll do something like this. You take that, you take that. Basically, I'm setting up, like, ideally, we're just going to have Earthshaker go deal a wound. I'm not expecting him to deal the 8 power, and then Game Changer can go. Horizon's Edge, like, after Earthshaker goes, we'll have at least 3 opening and a break in the pool for Game Changer. And then we can also use Arrow Barrage to make it, 5 opening and a break, and then we can use Unsolved Enigma to change some of those openings into breaks, and so that way we should be able to set up pretty well for hopefully ending this fight in 1 to 2 wounds here. But with that, let me change over my music to something more fun. And I think we are ready to go. Make sure nobody is breaking any equipment rules here first, now that I've moved things around. No, looks good, looks good. Looks good to me. And we have an AI 0. So this is the first time we've seen an AI 0. AI 0 is basically the first AI card that a Primordial will draw. If they have it, they'll always start with the AI 0. Even if there's like escalations before the battle, you would escalate the AI deck, but then put the AI 0 back on top. So it's nice in that it makes them a little bit predictable, and you can always predict what they're going to do for the first move. And actually, before I go into the AI 0, explain a little bit about some of the terrain tiles that we have here on the map. I explained that these Spartan Riverworks tiles are chasms, so you generally can't pass through them. You don't want Titans getting involuntarily moved onto them because they will die. These city tiles, what are they called? Fortified cities have the traits of obscuring, cover, and inhabited. So they're kind of similar to the cities that we saw in the battles during the first cycle, but they behave a bit differently. They're not destructible. You can use them to block line of sight, and some things we'll cover it if we get to it. But basically, there's conditions that if a Titan moves through it, or if the Primordial is pushed onto it, there are certain things that can happen. So you might get some benefits there. And then probably a bit hard to see, but over on this far left column, we have these Argo hull tiles. And so this is our Argo. We are backed up against the Argo fighting the Nietzschean over here. And the Argo hull, put this back over here, is an obstacle, and it is indestructible. So with, like, if you get knocked back into the Argo hull, you're not going to destroy it necessarily, but you can have the hull sustain damage. Like if your Titan gets knocked back into it or involuntarily moved onto it, or the Primordial would move through it, then you'd have to make a roll, and the Argo hull could essentially suffer damage. So you might lose actual Argo hull from your campaign tracker here. So you have to be careful about that. But there are some benefits that if you are within 3 spaces and you're attacking the primordial from within those spaces, Titans would get +1 precision, power reroll 1, and auto break 1. So there is some benefit to being close to that. But to me, I think the risks of losing hull are strongly discourage you from trying to be moving that fight towards the hull. All right, so back to our battle view here. Let's draw our AI 0. Lots of the weak. Come, and I will use only my left hand. Arms akimbo, the Nietzschean throws his head back and laughs at you. And then the target is going to be a random Titan. So let's do a little roll here. We have 1 die for each of our Argonauts, and we'll say lowest roll becomes the target. We have 2 4s, so who was it? Hypatia and Olympia are safe. This is going to be between the Orphan and Telebacus. And Telebacus is going to be the target of this, or our Earthshaker Titan. Then we have, so we're already on his camera. Yep. All right, so then here is Lot of the Weak. The Nietzschean looks at you with contempt and with a dismissive wave invites you to land the first blow. We're going to gain 1 rage. So Earthshaker will gain a rage and escalate 1. So just at the start of battle here, during this first primordial round, he's not even going to be attacking. If you read the rest of that after attack, he just basically says, end the primordial round here. And so that also means we're not going to perform the signature as well. Stopping 3, 2, 1. Still have a BP1 on top. And then take out an AI1, put in an AI2. We stop shuffling in 3, 2, 1. Cool. So this dude is so confident that he says, I don't need to start off with the first round. I'm going to give you rage and I'm going to let you take the first attacks. And let me tell you, boy, do we need it. So the after attack, end the primordial round and place this card on the AI discard pile. Never remove it from the bottom of the discard pile, nor shuffle it into the deck. Let it taunt you until you learn your lesson. Yeah, we'll do that. That's fine. That can stay there. What if I move it down here? Is that easier? Less glare a little bit? Sure. You can see him just kind of throwing his head back in laughter there. So just like that, we are now in the first Titan round. Apologies for the edit here. I went to go check on my dog. Thought I paused and resumed the recording at the right spots, but I didn't. So we're just going to backtrack this battle to this point, to just before we did, or just after we did our AI 0. And we were going to start off with Earthshaker going. So let's cut to our Earthshaker camera, activate him. We are going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're trying to avoid, oh, he's getting stuck there. We don't want to walk through that danger sense spot, so we're going to avoid going there. We have reach 2 on our Horizon's Edge weapon. We actually cannot use Analyticos module here because we want to use Cold Open, Earthshaker's ability, which allows him to get a break and an opening token in the Kratos pool if he's attacking and there are no break or opening tokens in there. And so, yeah, we're just going to initiate our attack now. We go from 2 rage to 3. And we need a 6 or higher to hit because we have +2 from Horizon's Edge and we have +1 from the opening token. That's a crit. And, well, we're going to have to see if we can re-roll this for... okay. So I didn't really care about wounding that much until I rolled a crit. I always like critting, so we'll gain a fate. See if we can re-roll this for, see if we can get a 6 or higher. That's an 8. Okay, that's a full hit. So it doesn't really matter if we wound on this one, honestly, because we really are just trying to set up Game Changer for his attack. So ultimately, it's not that big of a deal. But let's see what we can get here. We have the hardened ambrosial skin, and it is hardened. Okay, so it's hardened in both name and trait. We have 4 AT. We're going to have +2 AT because of the hardened. You can get, I think there's an ability you can get on some weapons that allows you to ignore hardened, but we don't have that. What is that called? I think it's armor piercing, right? Yes, armor piercing. Yeah. But I don't think any of our weapons have armor piercing on them. And we can gain the Umbral Virus. Ooh, if I remember correctly, I used that a ton in the Menestus Theater. So if we can get that, that would be nice. I would love that. All right, what do we have? We don't have, oh dang, I'm used to Earthshaker having the Periscopia. So I was like, oh, we have the bonus power. We don't have the bonus power. We are going to get our power dice here. It's going to be 3 red and a black. And we're going to have 2 power reroll here, both from his Kratos table. And we just have the 1 break. All right, let's see what we can do here. Boom. That's going to be, okay, not bad. Good start. Boom. Okay. So we're at 3. Boom. 4. All right, we need 2 on this. That's 2! Yes! We get the Umbral Virus. Oh, heck yeah. That's a good start to this. Our first wound on him. And we're going to get the Umbral Virus. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just double checking there. Yes. All right, so we're going to gain the Umbral Virus. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pay attention. I need a stream deck or something so I can actually be a little bit more... hopefully that would make it more obvious to me for like if I'm paused or not, or I'm hitting the right buttons, because in OBS the pause button and the stop recording button are right next to each other, and sometimes if the window is not focused on OBS already and I go to try to pause it, I don't actually pause it. It's only happened a couple of times, but then it's just it's annoying. So I might actually make the investment in a stream deck. So let me pause it. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just stop pausing it as much because then I won't risk it. But I am coming over to my stash of cards over here. We need. Wait, what was which virus are we getting? There's a few of them in here. The Umbral Virus. Umbral. Wait, what? No. Oh, here we go. Okay, this one's fine. This is not as good as I thought it was. There's a different virus that's a little bit better. But here we go. That is our Umbral Virus card. Very cool, very cool. So who did we attack? We attacked with Earthshaker. This is, you must attach to your Titan sheet and it becomes a Titan possession. So I don't have to equip this right now, I don't think. And because this is a Titan possession, this would get like attached to your Titan sheet and it would have to stay with that Titan. Until that Titan dies, then you can remove this gear card and put it on a different Titan. But putting this on a Titan is basically saying like, yep, they're gonna stick with it until they die. So I'm gonna put this in the Argo for now, and let me be better about adding these kinds of cards when we get them. Let's see here. Go to cargo, go to gear, then we will go to add gear. This would be, doesn't say no, it just says a secret card number, probably deck 5. Umbral Virus. So we'll add that to our cargo there. Then let's go back to his chem, because this will at least give me time to think about who I actually would want to put this on. Okay, cool. That's fun. At least we can get something out of this fight. We will wound this. We will add this to our wound counter there. Oops, sorry. And then we're gonna add a BP2 to our BP cards. Stop in 3, 2, 1. BP1. We will remove an AI1 and add in an AI2. Stop in 3, 2, 1. AI1. Hopefully that will not matter. Then we will pull these reds out. I'll pull this black die out. Put that back. We'll come back to our camera here. And we're going to get 2 opening from Horizon's Edge. And then we're going to get an opening and a break from Earthshaker's, what's it called? Kratos table. And then that's going to be it, I believe. Yeah, his turn is done. Okay. Cool. Well, I'll be honest, that was a better result than when I did this a few minutes ago. Because I did wound before, but it was not that card. And I didn't get anything from it. So I'm okay with this change of result. Let's see here. So we're now off of Earthshaker. And then now we just want to go with Game Changer. And this is where I'm hoping that we can actually just get our wound. Or I'm sorry, really 8 or more power. So let's put this on camera 2. I'm going to activate Game Changer / Hypatia. And let's just go in front. 1, 2. She does have reach as well. And let's see here. We're going to use Arrow Barrage. So we will get, we're going to get 2 opening tokens in the pool. And then we're going to actually use Unsolved Enigma. It's going to be a Fate, and we'll exhaust it. And so Unsolved Enigma allows us to change up to 3 of these opening tokens into break tokens. I'm debating how many. I mean, I definitely want to at least do 2 of them into break tokens. Do I want to do 3 of them? Maybe not. That feels like it. So right now we would need what? We'd have +4 total, so we'd need 5 or higher to hit. No, actually, yeah, let's do a third. So we're going to change 3 of them into break tokens. So we only have +3 now, so we're going to need 6 or higher to hit. We have Fate, so we can re-roll them. So we're going to go with Pure Asclepios here. Boom. We're going to go from 1 rage to 2. We will have just 1 power re-roll. But we do have that bonus power from Pure Asclepios. All right, so 6 or higher, come on. That is going to be a 7 and a 4. So we'll take that 7. We'll Fate re-roll the 4. Come on. Ooh, 6 or higher. Okay, we got a 6. We're good. So we can at least get a full hit on this card and be at full strength if we're trying to wound it. Draw that. We get no auto tokens at all, right? No, we don't. Ambrosial Vesicle has a AT of 5. And, oh, okay, that's nice. So there's no, it's not hardened at all. So we only need, well, we're still trying to get 8 though. So we're gonna have 2 black dice. Have to put them on the sides that I'm willing them to be in. Well, actually, we're gonna get 3 black dice because of Game Changer. And then we'll have 1 red die from Pure Asclepios. Yeah, so 3 black, 1 red. We have 1 power, so we really need to get 7 on our dice here. Let's make this dramatic. We're going to start with the red. Boom, that is 2. Amazing. Now we're going to go with the black. And that's, okay, that's pretty good. So that's still going to be 2. That's going to be 4. We're going to roll this one. That is going to be 4, or we're going up to another 2. So we're now at 6. We just need 2 more. Oh, that is cocked, unfortunately. That would be a great side to roll on. That's perfect. That's all we need. That's 2, 4, 6, 8. We got what we needed because we deal this wound. And let's see if we go to this book here. Let me make sure. You must impress the Nietzschean by performing an attack of a given total power. It doesn't matter if the attack wounded a BP or not. Depending on the number of marked boxes on the Nietzschean battle track, the Argonauts may win as soon as one box is 8 total power. So that's us. When you perform this attack, C11. All right. Let's go to this.
The monster staggers back, caught off guard by the ferocity of the last attack. You hear a strange sound escape from its colossal throat, a sharp intake of breath, as if in surprise, or perhaps admiration.
Gain 1 living abyss resource. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's see here. Where am I? Oh, sorry. Let me share that screen. 1 living abyss.
A deep voice echoes forth from all around the strange being, seeming to resonate from the very air itself.
Yes, this is the fury I wanted to see from you. Still, it is nothing. Witness the strength with which I reshape the world!
His body explodes in an inferno of white-hot fire and pure energy. The shockwave uproots trees and topples buildings. You fall to your knees to just hang on, though you still dredge in the earth as the unstoppable force pushes you away. The blaze makes the Antikratos helms run hot and sears your skin. You feel the power, the true power, of the Nietzschean, and it makes you weep.
So at this point, we now apply ascendancy rules. So ascendancy rules are basically a way that the game kind of does a power level reset, where you can technically use gear from cycle 1 if you want to. However, there's a lot of penalties to it, and those penalties are rough. For weapons, when you attack with these weapons, when you attack with a weapon, you cannot use any tokens from the Kratos pool or place any tokens in the Kratos pool. So if your weapon is, so let's show, for example, Theseus' razor. This is a cycle 1 because it has the brown backing to it. It also says cycle 1 there on the bottom of the card. This is a cycle 1 weapon. This is not of quote unquote power level 2 or the cycle 2 power level, as opposed to something like Pyrisclipios, which has the red backing. It has cycle 2 listed on the bottom there, although you may not be able to see it on the camera. So Pyrisclipios would not be subject to those ascendancy rules of cycle 2, but the Theseus' razor would. You do not benefit from power reroll X on, I guess on any gear, but mostly we have that on like weapons like Theseus' razor. Increase all fate costs on the card by 1. So any ability that we want to use that has a fate cost on a cycle 1 card would have to have an increase of 1 on the fate. Armor and shields only, -1 potential on your armor roll, -1 evasion reroll, -1 evasion bonus for all those things. So most of our gear down here is cycle 1. We have some things that are cycle 2, like Pursuer Ultimatum. We have Hermes Cape. And actually, some of these things have the ascended keyword on them. So for example, Pursuer Ultimatum, or maybe even a better example would be Pursuer Imperative, because it's a cycle 1 card. So cycle 1 brown backing, but because it has the ascended keyword on it, that means that you can use that without having to apply ascension penalties, and that applies for all future cycles. So you could use this in, like if there are ascension rules in 3, 4, or 5, like you could still use this gear without having to suffer ascension penalties. Here's a little peek behind the curtain. I was coming into this cycle thinking, oh, okay, like, I don't know. So if you had watched the cycle 1 videos, in the final video, at one point I was like, oh, I need to think of like something to do with all these, what's it called? Sisyphus tiers that we have. So if we go to our cargo, we have 5 Sisyphus tiers. And after, like, I was thinking later that night after I said that, I was like, oh, actually, I could try to make it run at getting the gear card The End, which you get it trying to deal 10 wounds to the Nietzschean. I could try to make a run at getting that gear card in this first fight, and, you know, redo it a number of times if I have to, because I have 5 tiers. So this is the second time I'm like recording this whole video. This will actually be what, the 4th time I'm doing this battle? I mean, kind of the 5th, because I had to restart part of this fight in the middle of this video. So I'm kind of sick of doing this first Nietzschean fight, to be totally honest. But the issue that I had, so I did the whole story intro bit one time before. In this playthrough, I did, you know, I was talking about, yeah, I'm going to make a run at this fight multiple times. I failed the fight twice, and then on the 3rd time, I did it. I got to 10 wounds. I had like crazy luck. I had been playing with my loadouts a few times to be able to try to see, like, how do I optimize this? How do I make sure that, like, we have somebody who can like combo break and see if, like, can we try to survive for like up to maybe 3 Titan rounds and try to be able to get that way. Maybe we have our logic breaker intentionally take an obel at some point. Like, this is all on video. I have this fight recorded on video, and the end of it is comedy gold, because I didn't apply ascension penalties to this. I came into this thinking like, okay, no, I think the ascension penalties, I think they happen after the first time you fight the Nietzschean. So I think the first time you fight him, you're not subject to these ascension penalties. So if I'm going to try to get this, if I'm trying to get the end early, then I need to do this in this first fight. And this paragraph that we just read, paragraph 11, I was like, oh, no, we'll just read that once we deal the 10th wound or whatever. We'll basically just read that at the end. Like, I didn't think it was that important. No, it's very important that, like, you have to read it after you deal that first wound that deals 8 power. And it's pretty explicit with how it says it too. It's just user error for not interpreting it correctly. So at the end of this video, like, I mean, it was my 3rd attempt at doing this. So I spent, I mean, just from the videos of me recording all the attempts, like, I think the last one alone was like 3 hours or so. And like, I spent a little bit more than that, especially in that last one, because like I would be pausing it and I'd be thinking through my turns, and I'd be like, okay, I don't want to mess this up, because I got a lot of luck really early on in that fight. Like crits that gave us bonus attacks, and then like some decent draws of trauma cards. And then at the end, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to go read this paragraph really quick. Okay, let me read this. And I think the last words I say in that video are just something like, oh my God. And then it's like 10 more seconds of silence for me, and then I just end the video, because I am just, I was flabbergasted. I was pissed. This was like in real time. This was yesterday for me, and I had to stop playing. I was just like, I was so dang pissed at myself for not like reading the rules. And anyway, I also during that fight, kind of early on in the fight, I made one of the stupidest reroll decisions that I have made in this playthrough of the game. It was so dumb. I almost cost myself the entire like that run with that reroll. If you make it to this point in this video and you want me to like post the attempts that I did without applying the ascendancy rules, I'm happy to do that, because at this point, like I was really annoyed afterwards at first, but then it's just like I watched the end of that that last attempt and I was like, okay, this is kind of funny. But yeah, if you leave a comment and you ask me to post it, I will post it. I'll post it kind of separate to like the whole playlist for Cycle 2. But I also forgot to apply the Stay Your Hand trait. So I was playing with his attacks at full strength. The ascendancy rules definitely are important, and they make the fight harder than not applying the Stay Your Hand trait makes the fight easier, if that makes sense. Like, it's not an even 1-for-1 trade. I think you actually can still get the end in this first fight. It takes a lot of luck, and that's why I wasn't willing to do it again. But if you want to do it, the way I think you need to do it is, like, you need Perisclipios. You need, if you wounded, so let's see, Horizon's Edge and Perisclipios are both, like, they would not be subject to the ascendancy rules, so you can use those weapons and you're okay. For your other two weapons, I have Mazimer and Theseus's Razor. You could ascend one of them with an Ascension Core from Mnestis Theater, which you'd have to fight up through Temenos 3 to be able to get that. Alternatively, if you had the, what's it called? In Cycle 1, if you had been able to craft the Conqueror's Nail, I think that is a good enough weapon that, like, you could probably be, like, you could use that in this fight and get a chance at being able to do a lot of damage with that. And then if you have Perisclipios, you could use the Mnestis Theater to get guaranteed loot from Temenos to be able to get the Pyramidion. So then you have one person using Perisclipios, one person using Pyramidion. If you do that, I think even like you would need to change your loadout around, because then Earthshaker might need to wield something like Perisclipios and the Temenos Scale Shield if you want to try to combo break that first combo in the AI round. You're still going to have to deal with like higher fate penalties from some of your support items. Like the Primordial Lure is so important if you're trying to get to 10 wounds, because you need to... Okay, anyway, I'm done going on the tangent about this. Just to re-summarize this, go back to this view. I think it's possible. I think you really can get the end in the first fight, but it takes, you have to have done a lot of setup for it in the first cycle. And it's still going to take a significant amount of luck. But I think it's possible. But I was not willing to invest the amount of time to redo this fight again with the Ascension rules in mind. So yeah, leave a comment and tell me to post that video if you're interested in seeing it. You can kind of see the strategy that I go about it with. Like, I think the same relative strategy is how you would get to 10 wounds. It's just some of the loadout would have to change a little bit for that to work. Anyway, I digress. So we are going to end our fight here. Let's see. So when this happens, you may proceed to Aftermath. Show me your power. So we are going to go... we're going to do the Aftermath here. Let's see. The Nietzschean monster stands there silently, its unseeing gaze washing over you like a tide. It slowly nods in approval. You have passed this time. If this was your first cruel lesson battle, check if you went through either 11 or 12 story passage. See victory conditions above. I did do that. Oh wait, so was there anything else that was missing from that? No, okay. So then we have a fleeting dream. The least likely Argonaut gains 1 Nemos node. So we'll go over to our Argonauts here. Oh, and I did not add Hypatia. Let's do that really quickly. Hypatia, set her as 2, so she goes in the correct order here. Create, set her color to blue. And then we're gonna give her the Nemos. What does it cast off? Yeah. I think she's gonna be our least likely. Yeah, she will get a Nemos node. And let's see. Then see rewards and penalties. Reset the Triskelions. I will take care of that. Boom, boom. Could really do some of this off camera, but since I'm doing these story battles, some of these battles within the story videos, I'll just do it so I don't forget. Okay. Then we will subtract 3 Argo Fate. And then we gain resources for each BP card in the wound stack. So we are going to get, we have, I forget what these resources are called. Looks like a little, oh, I think it's just our Violent Ambrosia. We're just going to get 4 Violent Ambrosia. If the battle was lost with 1 or less Argo-bred Titans, that's not true. If this is your first battle with the Nietzschean, gain the Nietzschean Sighting Technology card. Okay. And I forget, does that mean, that means we just gain it, right? Outright gain it, not just add it to the deck. Yeah, we just gain it. Technology, projects. Is it here? No, oh, wait a second. Why is this showing as, we already have this. Oh, maybe it's from, okay, so let's go ahead and just clear that then. Do some of these, okay, sorry. Getting distracted here. Let's see, Nietzschean Sighting. Boom. And this is about Crippling Titans, which is a new mechanic in Cycle 2. Let's see, discard all conditions and tokens from Titan sheets. Titans killed in this battle are not dead. They are, the Nietzschean merely cripples them. Those Titans cannot be used in battles and cannot be lost to effects. For all intents and purposes, they are dead. They simply take up space in the Titan Stoa. These Titans are not taken into account when checking if you're able to breed a given class of Argo-bred Titans, but cannot be lost through any effect. Story continues. I think we did note paragraph 13. If I remember correctly. Let me jump back here. Yes. Go to,
The infernal monolithic creature looms over the Argo. A vision of doom hanging far overhead. Flames crackle across its glistening black hide, its form twisting as the white bone of the enormous skull turns toward you. The fire in the heart of its eye sockets gleams like distant stars.
Taste this, Argonauts.
His golden voice, both warming and terrifying at the same time, echoes in your ears. There is no ignoring the authority there.
Grow in power or see everything devoured by me.
The monster turns away and, like an unstoppable mountain, moves inshore in giant strides, quickly vanishing from sight. The column of flame, smoke and steam that hangs over it lingers a while on the horizon. Nobody gives chase. There are too many to tend to, too many to bury. Below decks, the healers of the Argo work tirelessly, preparing the body of the fallen Argonaut for their final journey. Oils are applied to skin, while armor and weapons are polished to a fine sheen. As the first lilting elegy rises into the air above the Argo, cries of mourning lift to join it. You feel the grief shift in your own breast, a wrenching pain that will not abate. The procession through the upper levels of the Argo moves slowly, escorting the body to the Argonaut mausoleum, the place from whence you emerge and the place you are laid to rest. The silence contained within seems to spread out in deadening waves across the city ship.
And we need to check if C3 or L1 is marked. Let's go here. C3 is not. L1 is not. Go back. So we will go to paragraph 15.
Before your comrade has even been laid to rest in the Argonaut mausoleum, you are approached by a shadowy figure clad in a simple gray robe that hides finely crafted leather armor.
Sinoikismos,
He whispers.
Simoki welcomes you, Argonauts. If not contained, the Nietzschean's way will become the only way. But a united opposition begins to form.
The next day, your contact leads you to a not-too-distant bay on the Lakonian coast, where a heavily armored septireme awaits. You are met by a broad assortment of figures, representatives of different portions of the diaspora fleet, the Simoki's mobile nation of nomadic vessels, and their home since the fall of Athens, stand together in what could almost be mistaken for a governmental assembly. Also attending are a few more demure, muted figures.
Helots,
Your Simoki contact explains.
former slaves who have thrown off the shackles of their Spartan masters.
One of the Simoki leaders, an Archon, approaches you. A welcoming smile painted across her features.
Ah, the Argonauts. I am glad you could make it. When we heard of your encounter with the Nietzschean, we feared the worst.
That thing he unleashed, you say, skipping pleasantries.
His shadow, it laid waste to our first fleet. Now we skulk like rats on the edges of the world. But with your titans...
We have not decided yet if we want to partake in your war.
The Nietzschean cares not what you think.
The Archon snarls.
He has amassed too much power already, too much ambrosia. Either we stand together or die alone.
You mull these words for a moment, a knot of unease in your stomach.
All right. So we're going to get Simoki Diplomacy +1. Boom. Diplomacy +1. Okay, it looks like new diplomacy rules for this are we can't go negative with them. We can get up to 12, so we can be allied with them at 12, but we'll have to work towards that. Okay. Go to the next paragraph.
The murmurings and mutterings of the gathering come to a halt as you join the meeting. A number of those present looking to you with curiosity. You feel as though you are being inspected, weighed up. You wonder if you match up to what their hopes were.
I will be plain. The Nietzschean is powerful, but his enemies are many.
An older man in faded grey robes says,
The Helots are rising up across Lakonia as we speak, but their disparate voices will be silenced if they don't receive support.
The Simic stands ready to lend its aid, the Archon says. And we know the Nietzschean, for we have waged war with him for months now, on many fronts.
There are others within the borders of the Empire who could be turned to our cause. And you...
The old man's eyes gleam with a familiar emotion. Hope.
You are the Argonauts, saviors of Crete. With your titans, you are unstoppable.
You wish it was so. But the gauntlet has been thrown, and on Crete you swore to mend this world. You will not discard this mantle so quickly. If we agree to this, you say after a long pause, their curious gazes inspecting every twitch of your facial muscles. How would you suggest we approach it? Kill the Nietzschean. Cut off the head. The Temple of Man rises somewhere in the northern reaches of Lakonia, the Archon says. The only way to reach it with the Argo and its forces is through the great river works.
A vast canal system built by the Spartans,
the old Lakonian explains.
Built upon the waterways of the Eurotas and its tributaries. The Nietzschean has expanded them greatly to allow for movement of troops and resources.
I doubt it's as simple as sailing all the way up to the Nietzschean's doorstep, you scoff.
There are complications along the way,
the Lakonian admits.
The eschaton caused an upheaval of the land, leading to a vast series of cataracts marring the river works in key places. The Nietzschean countered this by ordering the construction of sluice gate fortresses, allowing for the passage of ships, but also serving as a barrier against unwanted travelers. These fortresses are heavily defended, and the only way to operate one is with a gate ignition key sequence, activated from within.
So, a key and an inside man.
What say you, Argonauts?
The Helot asks.
Will you aid us? Will you help Lakonia be free from this oppression?
Okay, so now we're given three options here. Option 1, your crew lie dead at the Nietzschean's hands, and you will not stand for this. You need to send a clear message, one that will rouse these potential allies to action and inspire your own people to fight back against the tyranny of this foe. Yet, once ignited, the flames of wrath are difficult to quench. Swear vengeance for the fallen. Lose 1 humanity, gain 1 progress token. Option 2. A more reserved declaration may be in order, one that makes clear your dedication without allowing emotions to cloud your decisions. However, messages of restraint are often seen as cowardice and don't inspire confidence. Swear your dedication to peace and justice. Simic diplomacy +1. Gain 2 Argo fate. The people need hope. This is option 3. The people need hope. Without it, they will slide into listless apathy. You need to make a bold statement that will appeal to the hearts of those who will follow you. The more strategically minded of your would-be allies may scorn such idealisms as rash, transient ardor. Swear to free the land from the Nietzschean's oppression. Helots diplomacy +1, refugees +2. I'm not really inclined to go with option 1 here because I don't really want to lose humanity if I can avoid it. Options 2 and 3. Let's see, we're basically saying that we're going for peace and justice, or that we will swear to free the land from the Nietzscheans, excuse me, oppression. And both of those kind of sound like similar messaging to me. Also with the first option, swear vengeance for the fallen. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like that, but also that's how, I mean, it is just kind of like, I feel like they could turn into a cyclical thing. It's just like, oh, we lost people. We're going to now use that as motivation to go into more war. And then we're going to lose more people. And then where does it end? Swear your dedication to peace and justice, or swear to free the land from the Nietzscheans' oppression. I don't have a strong opinion between these two. I mean, if I'm all right, I'm kind of looking at the timeline here. We have a combat encounter coming up soon. Well, on day one, we're gonna have a combat encounter. So we're gonna be able to lose those two Argo Fate pretty quickly. So I don't know. I think kind of metagaming a little bit. I might just go with that option because I think it'll be easier for me to lose those Argo Fate. I don't remember how. Like I think refugees are going to end up being similar to what was the name of the resource that was the strangers in cycle 1. I forget how exactly they're different, but I assume, if I remember correctly, it could be negative to have those refugees on board in some ways. So let's go with option 2. So we're going to gain 2 Argo Fate here. And then we will go to Simicky Diplomacy +1. We're still hidden with them. So -1 to their diplomacy score. And we're going to see paragraph 18.
You step up, clearing your throat as you prepare to speak. You put aside all thoughts of indignant revenge for the fallen, all idealistic musings of freedom and peace for all, and instead keep your focus razor sharp. The Nietzschean is a threat that no one can ignore. He stands to destroy much in the name of his ideals, in his quest to dominate and subdue. Working together, we can put an end to his occupation of these lands and ensure he faces fair and just punishment. Though the Simiky's silver-tongued envoys nod in agreement, many feel that mere just punishment is not enough. This will be a constant struggle, you realize, to keep not only your lives intact, but your ideals as well.
Yeah, I mean, what do you consider as just punishment for somebody who is like literally just killing hordes of people, and it's like, yeah, every day I don't see you, I'm just gonna kill tons of women and children. What are you gonna do about it? Well, when we find and catch you, we're gonna give you a slap on the wrist. All right, so we're gonna gain 3 war machine resources here. Go resources. Oh, I'm already on this tab. War machine 1, 2, 3, and then we'll get the Wise Providence boon. Okay, so it'll be our next timeline battle. We'll have Wise Providence. Wise Providence. Cool. And then we go to paragraph 14.
You are not helpless. The last Academy has just finished a thorough analysis of the Temenos' carcass and commissioned proof-of-concept prototypes from the ever-expanding Argo works. What they were short on was resources, which the Nietzschean, in his unbridled arrogance, has provided. You intend to put them to good use.
All right, so we are going to gain, let's go ahead and just mark these in our what's it called? Our scribe app here. Technology, we are going to gain, are these in our projects right now? All right, so the first one is Temenos weapons. No, it's not listed in projects. We'll just need to add it unless it's already here. No, it's not. Okay. So Temenos weapons. Nope. Stupid autocorrect. Temenos weapons. Temenos armor. Lakonian support equipment. Let's see. Okay. Lakonian support equipment. And then gain either the Triskelion power boost or Trireme ballista fire technology cards, as indicated by the Day Zero combat research. Okay, I see. So let's see. We could choose between. Oh, we already have bronze layer, so. Oh, I don't know why. For some reason it's still showing here, but we've already added that. Trireme ballista fire. We could also do Pursuer Order, I guess, because we have that available to us. Let's see, which Trireme ballista fire? Choose a Titan performing a power roll. The Titan gains power, reroll 1. That could be okay. I don't know if I'd replace any of my existing ones with that. Choose an attacking Titan. That Titan gains pushback 2. I never really used this one ever. So I'm kind of basing it more on like which one. So I think I would go with this one if I want to go down the Cyclonus path first. This one if I want to go down the Chimera Mestatosis path first. I think I might lean towards the Cyclonus. Let's just do that. Let's do Trireme ballista fire. And let me actually get the physical card for that as well. It's Argo ability. Trireme ballista fire, where are you? Oh, I have those separately, I think. Okay, I need to pull those out from a separate Argo abilities deck. Okay, so we'll grab that shortly, and then we need to gain, we get some actual equipment here as well. Cargo, gear, then we're gonna get Labyrinth armor, Labyrinth armor, Temenos scale shield. Let's limit this to current cycle technology. 1 Labyrinth armor, 1 Temenos scale shield. Why is that saying we didn't have one before? Oh, maybe I didn't actually indicate that when I first got one, so we should have 2 of those. Temenos Xiphos, boom. Puzzle Axe, boom. Labyrinth Mauler, boom. Amphoros Belt, boom. And 4 labyrinthization cards. Do we have those in here? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then read side 1 of the Nietzschean welcome story card. I think that should actually be in here. Yeah.
You have arrived in Lakonia, looking for answers about your origins. Instead, you found death at the hands of Sparta's cruel, merciless leader, the Nietzschean. The Nietzschean has issued you a challenge. Reach the Temple of Man in 80 days and defeat him. Each day you linger, innocents will die, sacrificed to the New World Order. You are the Argonauts. You will not let this stand. To reach the Temple of Man, you need to navigate the Empire's many rivers and canals, the Great River Works, and across the sluice gates of the First Cataract. And for that, you need an ignition key and a defector.
Let me go ahead and do this. So that is our story card 1A. We need to collect progress tokens. Then I will create the Cycle 2 exploration deck. And we will find, okay, so I will do that. I guess I need to do that now. Let me pause. Okay. I have created our exploration deck there. Then we need to take the cycle map 78 and we're going to place it, and our Argo will go on that. So I'm just going to show it for here, but I have some cleanup to do, so I'm not going to put this on the actual tiles just yet. But that is going to be our starting point. Looks like we're starting in the corner of a map because we can only go north and east. Then gain the first cataract fortification line. Clue card. Looks like this here. So we have a map of some sort. We'll have to figure out the orientation and how this should actually look, but in theory this should allow us to determine, like, get an idea of how these map tiles will end up look as they're laid out. But we don't know what orientation that should be in, I don't think. Okay, we have that. Mark day 0 on the timeline and then proceed to the first step of this campaign round. When there are 7 or more progress tokens on this card, flip this card to side 1B. So let's go to this. We're going to mark day 0. Then we also, oh, I've already marked it. Then we need to read Doom card 1A as well. So going through the app here. Story and Doom cards 1A.
The strong eat and the weak are meat.
The Nietzschean has declared war on the civilized world in the name of his perverse ideology, subjugating culture after culture and exploiting the land for valuable resources, like ambrosia. As his armies march toward the coast, it seems there are none who can oppose him. None but you and your new allies. Yet, from the beginning, you are beset by your own problems. Spies and saboteurs of the Empire are infiltrating the Argo with a flood of refugees. It's only a matter of time before something happens.
Okay. Find the oh, we need more exploration cards in here. Right, of course, we're gonna get some bad ones. Grab those. Numbers 33 through 36 and shuffle them to create the sabotage deck. When you are instructed to add sabotage cards to the exploration deck, randomly draw them from the sabotage deck. Then shuffle them into the exploration deck. When a sabotage card is removed from the exploration deck, shuffle it back into the sabotage deck unless it was removed permanently. If your sabotage deck runs out of cards, as long as it is empty, ignore all effects that instruct you to add sabotage cards to the exploration deck. Add 2 random sabotage cards to the exploration deck now. When there are 5 or more Doom tokens on this card, or you've advanced to story 2A, flip the card to side 1B. Place excess Doom tokens on side 1B. So I would assume that if you flip from story 1A, or if you flip to story 2A and you're still on Doom 1A and you're at, like, let's say Doom 4 out of 5, I assume you would clear those Doom tokens off before you actually flip it, because otherwise you're kind of incentivized to make sure you get to Doom side 1B. All right, so we need 33 through 36. Pull those out now. And there we go. We have our 4 sabotage cards here. Shuffle those up. And we'll have to add 2 of them randomly to our, exploration deck. Draw those 2. These can stay off to the side. Let's put those in our exploration deck and shuffle them in. A little bit more shuffling here. Make sure all these things are nice and mashed around. Cool. Boom. And I think that's where we're going to end this video. So we met the Nietzschean. He does not seem like a nice man. He does not seem to have our best interest at heart, at least from my perspective. Now we are getting pulled into this war in Lakonia, and we have to go and try to stop the Nietzschean. We have to work our way up through these river works and find a way through these sleuth gates. We're going to have to find these keys and also have a person on the inside who can actually help us infiltrate the gates and open them up for us. And we're going to need some progress to be able to do that. And we have our map tile here that we're going to be starting out on. And yeah, in the next video, let's see, the next video, I guess maybe it'll be the first timeline battle. And then maybe I'll do another video after that for like some of the first adventure days. But yeah, I'm still figuring out the pacing that I'll be doing for these videos, because like I said, I'm not going to be recording every single in-game day, because I like having my own like time to just play this game without having to worry about recording, because recording does take a little bit of time and effort out of me. But yeah, I appreciate you all for joining. Once again, thank you to the folks at Into the Unknown for allowing me to use the voiceovers in these videos. I really think they're adding a lot to the quality of it. Just the voiceover work is awesome. The sound effects are really cool, and it's adding a lot of immersion to me as somebody who's already played this game, still getting like something new out of it with coming back to it with those voiceovers and some little bits of text in the story that is seemingly innocuous, and then it's just like, wait, that feels like it rings a bell about something. But yeah, thank you all for joining. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.